You sure? You're welcome to Soul Sisters. It's the show that discusses issues relating to women every Wednesday from 11 till 11:50 on the station that loves music and loves life. My name is Oluwaseun, and this Wednesday we are here with something that is very important that can really be a clog in the wheel of a woman's progress, that can be like a sort of weight holding a woman back from achieving the things she needs to do or repeating her success. So, we're talking about imposter syndrome. And before the break, or rather before coming on, I was having a conversation behind the scene with my guest who is already in the studio. And you can see our faces on YouTube. It is youtube.com/ smooth 921 FM Lagos. Again, youtube.com/ smooth 921 FM Lagos. I remember saying it last week that men and women do experience imposter syndrome, but it is more common to women, not just women, high achieving women. You wonder how that is possible because they are supposed to be the one acing it, killing it, and getting everything together. Unfortunately, sometimes behind that woman who seems well put together, everything figured out, there can be the ugly monster called imposter syndrome. I remember seeing a quote of Maya Angelou who said, I have written 11 books, but each time I think, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. Michelle Obama, the likes of Sheryl Sandberg, Court Justice, so and it makes you wonder what is the common factor? How did this happen? And so many like that we will be answering this morning. So all you just have to do is come on board and you can always ask a question, chip in your thought on WhatsApp. It is 0809 444 0981. Again, WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. That said, I have someone in the studio as my guest today who is very passionate about helping women be the best version of themselves, being fulfilled, productive, and of course, opening new doors that they did not even know were there in the first instance. The first time I knew of as an IT consultant, and my guest this morning is Temi Omotola. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your presence. Thank
Thank
you for being
you.
here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's dive into it. Before I get to the definition, I mean, somebody would want to understand this thing I called a monster called imposter syndrome. Before that, I'd like to understand what mindset engineering involves.
Right. So that was, thank you for having me. So happy to be here. So mindset engineering came up from my research. So I have a background in maths and computer science. So then I started delving into mindsets transformation. And I realized this is more like you're building and designing your mind. So it's not just some layman terms. So I could relate it to computer engineering or construction of roads. So you get to the road, it's maybe not smooth, then you start building on it to make it better. So that's the same way you need to build your mind. So the natural state, according to Newton's law, is every until an external force
Act on them.
acts on them, then or you keep going on a straight line until an external force acts on you. It's the same with the mind. You need to construct it, you need to design it how you want it to be. You cannot just sit down and just assume it's gonna get better. You have to put in the work and the effort.
Hmm.
So that's how that. And then I googled it, and I actually found that it's actually a thing, but it's not so common. So there you are.
Okay. Mindset engineering, unlike the other engineering where it probably has to do with buildings, has to do with inanimate things, this one has to do with a human. I
Yes.
like it. And it's taking me back to my knowledge of physics and
Yes.
science and math, which I did not like, by the way. Probably part of the reasons I
Yeah.
ended up in arts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. Okay, so let's get to the definition and understanding in details what imposter syndrome is, especially how different it is from the other things like humility, like a true assessment of yourself and what you're capable of or what your deficiencies might be.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is imposter syndrome?
So I'm going to use the Oxford definition of that says it's your persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved. So
Mm,
you're successful, you've crossed the T's, you've got the highs, and you still feel unworthy of those success, unworthy of those promotion, unworthy that you won a competition, and feeling like very soon you'll be found out. I like the way you said it about Meyer. It's something I actually experienced myself,
mm,
being a woman in IT. Like a lot of it's the gameplay for men. So sometimes, even when I was in school, right, I would read, write the exams, and get good grades. And the first time they published all our grades, right, I started from the bottom, looking for my name
interesting.
from the bottom. I couldn't believe I could top the class, and I did. But I started looking for my name from the bottom. That is imposter syndrome.
Okay, I want to stay on that example.
Yeah,
What informed that thought that you couldn't top the class?
I don't know. I just believe there are better people in the room and how they.
Have you been in a situation like that before? This is what I mean. Have you topped the class before? Have you?
So it was the IRS institution, right?
Okay.
And I just felt this is harder and
Uh,
it's mathematics. Nobody likes it. I was great in high school, but I felt this is a different game. The best of the best is here. I can't. And the man was quite intimidating. I did my best, but when the result came out, I went from the bottom and I was shocked. I was like, did was I not admitted in school? Did they miss my name out? When I got to the middle, I can't find my name. And I saw number three, Temi.
how did that feel?
I was shocked.
Did you wait for a bit and say maybe they made a mistake, they'll correct
No,
it?
I didn't feel that
Okay.
because I've done the job. I knew I should be there, but I still didn't believe. It's just like trust. See, I'm raising my hand right now because I trust my hand will go up. Imposter syndrome is associated with you not trusting the work you've done.
Mm,
So I can't trust my hand will go up. But with imposter syndrome, even if the hand is up, you still doubt it.
that is just something keeping it there.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna fall.
Interesting. So what you said reminds me of something I found when it was originally coined, that is imposter phenomenon,
Yeah.
by the psychologist Pauline Rose Clance and Susan Imes. That was in 1978. They did a study and sampled about 100 women,
Mm.
and this 100 women were actually high achieving, like I mentioned when I started the show.
Yeah.
And aside that, they were also involved in psychotherapy for a number of reasons. So some
Mm.
of the things they found out about their success. So some of them said it was attributed to luck,
Mm.
and some said it was just a one-time thing or it was just coincidence,
Yeah.
a multiple case of coincidence, and,
Yeah.
and that was just sad.
And it's really sad. It also, so like I said, I would top the class. That was the first time. Like, then subsequently, it gave me the confidence. I knew, sure, I got this now. But it was harder to convince everyone around me because I don't look like the nerd not top in maths class, right? They were expecting that was a fluke.
Hmm.
So your environmental factor plays into you buying into such feelings like that was just a fluke, right? But then that's when you now have to be self-aware. You have to trust. You have to build your mindset up by
Mm.
yourself. Else, you just get carried away with the wind and the noise that goes around you, right? You need that self awareness, self worth confidence. This is me. Take your crown. Be that person. Know who you are. Know who you're not. It's very, very important. Until I sat down to do the SWOT analysis, like you rightly said, see, all this big terms that we use in business can actually be used in your personal life. I like the saying that you are the CEO of your life, right? Take executive decision about your life. That's one of my favorite saying. I don't know who said it. Or maybe I coined it. I'm not sure.
So let me jump in at this point. We
Yeah.
need to go on a short break. And when we come back, we will now reverse to how different imposter syndrome is from you just being self aware. You just being aware that, okay, this thing, in the words of Nigerian, is doing past yourself. And actually knowing, no, this is the other voice in my head screaming at me. So when we come back after this break, we will establish that and further tell you some other things about imposter syndrome. You're listening to Soul Sisters right here on Smooth 98.1. We'll be right back.
98.1.
So we've got just a minute and then we'll be back to those things I mentioned.
I'm just going to be like Oprah that said everyone that came on a show kept asking her, how did I do?
This is a woman. Let's talk about the woman.
Women make up more than half of the world's population and potential.
Every woman has got a story to tell. A story about her journey to being a shero against all odds.
That is the fuel to my fire, to make a difference in as many children's lives as I could.
Smooth 98.1 presents Soul Sisters, a discourse on the
I've
woman.
never quite understood why there's so much hostility to conversations around feminism.
Soul Sisters, now on Smooth 98.1, every Wednesday from 11 a.m.
And that exactly is the show you're listening to on Smooth 98.1. It's called Soul Sister, and that's what you listen to every Wednesday from 11 a.m. till 11:50 on your Love Music, Love Life radio station, 14 minutes past 11 o'clock. My name is Oluwaseun. My guest is Temi Omotola, and she is a mindset engineering advocate, an author, as well as an IT consultant who loves mathematics. We have been discussing the issue of imposter syndrome, and your comment contribution can come to WhatsApp, like that of Amarachi writing from Surulere, who says, I don't think imposter syndrome is a woman's thing. Even God in the Bible doubts herself from Genesis all the way to Revelations, and if there are other books, she'll still doubt herself in other ones too. So if we're truly made in the image, then we all have imposter syndrome. So we can't fix it. We can either accept it or fight like every step of the way. That is not entirely true. But going back to you saying it's a woman thing or not, yes, I made mention at the start of the show by saying it is not restricted or limited to women. In fact, according to a study that was released in the International Journal of Behavioral Science in 2011, it is estimated that 70% of people, and that is not limited to women, will experience at least one episode of this phenomenon at some point in their lives. And that was according to Sakoko J and Alexander J in that particular journal. So yes, it is not limited or restricted to women. However, the number show that women tend to experience this more because men, as they go with more validation, with more praise, with more, oh, you are the man, you're acing this, you're crushing this, they tend to pick up themselves. In fact, that is where some actually replace confidence with competence.
Yeah.
But that is not the story for today. But with women, just look at when you compliment a woman. Tell her, oh my God, you look so
Are you
lovely.
sure?
She'll tell you, oh, this, I have had this weed
For 10 years.
for 10 years. Oh, really? Oh, no, when I was coming out, in fact, I thought I was looking quite scruffy.
Right,
They struggle with compliments.
Yes.
How much more their own achievements?
right. You said something now. Can I chip in?
Yes,
there?
please.
So when you said the man would eventually pick it up with praises and all, including from the praises from the woman in his life.
True that.
So they feed on all of that, but who does that for the woman?
Okay. Cricket silence. Well, it's yes, it's a very important one. At the same time, too, when the women get it, they should not push it away. They
Yes.
should not be, in quotes, modest about
Yeah.
receiving.
False humility.
Yes, that is very important. So let's go back to again understanding imposter syndrome and how it is quite different from what you have discovered from a personal SWOT analysis. How is it different from you saying, I'm not capable of this? Oh,
Right. So syndrome is you being capable and you feeling you're not. Okay. Humility or confidence is fine. So if someone with imposter syndrome can then have a false humility that you can't say no, for instance, and sometimes you see them also not being able to say yes to certain things.
mm,
So they think, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to take this space. You know what I mean? But humility is you achieving something and not overblowing your trumpet. But someone with this imposter syndrome would mix it up to think humility is you not being too ambitious or
or
not
downplaying everything.
downplaying your achievement or not singing your praises, not dwelling in your achievements. Like you truly deserve this. You need to celebrate it and owning your power. So it's very tricky. So that's why mindset engineering is very important. And it's not something you do one off, it's a daily routine. I picked that from the Bible that says daily,
This book of the law.
yeah, should be in your mind, things like that. Like it's something that you, I'm not talking that we should be religious. We're not talking religion right now. But those are the things I pick from repetition. Even in science, right? If you keep repeating your drugs, if you have malaria, for instance, right? You need to consistently take it at certain times. Or if you're trying to use antibiotics, you have to use it every 6 hours and you have to stay consistent to that. Else, you might not get better. There is a mathematical method for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sure love your math. All right, so let's talk about the characteristics of imposter syndrome. Now, it might not be a diagnosed psychological or psychological condition. However, there are ways it manifests itself. So, how do you know this actually is imposter syndrome at work?
Self doubt, not able to trust yourself, seeking validation, seeking external validation. Seeking validation is good, okay? When you're in a safe space with people that are your soul sisters or your family, is great. But sometimes people are not fully into their own power and they're always looking for someone to compliment them or tell them they're doing good. Like you need to be able to trust my hand is going to lift this phone off the table
Mm.
and just relve in that power. So if you're like I said to you the other day, Oprah said every single woman on a show after the show always ask her, "How did I do?" Obama, Beyonce, sorry, Michelle Obama, Beyonce, all the great women. Constantly, they've not met themselves before, but they don't even know. Did I do well? How did I do? That is imposter syndrome.
I wonder what the men did, if the men ever asked her after the show if they did well.
A lot of men would go for roles they're not even qualified for and walk in confidently and still get it. Meanwhile, a woman that is overqualified will be shying to say, "Oh, how dare you?"
You know what? It's actually troubling.
Yeah.
It is very troubling, and you see that in the society. So,
Yep.
definitely, upbringing matters.
It does.
Environment, I think you highlighted that before. So,
Parental.
what are those things that actually contribute to the development of imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Imposter syndrome can easily set in from childhood. So parents that have it and have not dealt with it only
Mm.
set up their kids for failure because there's that tendency for them to just transfer it directly onto them.
How do
Okay,
they do that?
unconsciously. So if you have a child, for instance, that wants to do things and you feel like, oh, that's too eye achieving or beyond the reach, and you try to downplay to say, oh, that's too much. Okay, the child begin to internalize that. Okay, so as parents, you have to be intentional about, first need to have uncovered yours and healed. Okay, then you start practicing intentional parenting. I so much believe in having like a um, physiotherapist, especially when you grow up from Africa. Okay, you need to do that. Mental awareness, so you can unpack your own trauma and deal with it, and then you can help your kids accordingly. Else you would just be garbage in, garbage out for the kids as well. So encourage them, make them feel the best version of themselves, study them, see their strengths, and let them play to it. Else you keep breeding generational, you keep transversing your generational trauma, and it keeps going on and on and on like that. So I believe every war the parents
Because I remember it's normal. In actual fact, when you go to other climes, it's not.
I can go on and on and on with that, but we're not ready to go down that hole.
All right, then. So, aside environment, what are the other possible causes or of what's it called, imposter syndrome? We mentioned upbringing, we've mentioned environment. There was an interesting one I came about, which was racism as
Mhm.
well. It says that women of color were more inclined, there were more chances that women of color would experience imposter syndrome. And if you look at a number of the examples I have given you, from Viola Davis to Michelle Obama,
Mhm.
to, although there is Charlize Theron there, to Maya Angelou, a number of them. So it was said that it was deeply rooted in how their abilities over time has been questioned and how they over try to overcompensate.
So being living here and being abroad made it clear to me that most black women are traumatized. We try to overdo things, we try to be strong, we want to carry shoulders, we want to overachieve because that is directly tied to our sense of value. So I mentioned that also in my book. She's enough. So how did I go down the route of being a mathematician? Because I felt I needed something strong and heavy. So when I get into the room and tell you I'm a mathematician, you give me that respect. Honestly, but really, she's enough. We don't have to do all of that. Truly, it's good to be to be, what's the right word now? To be ambitious, but you don't need that ambition to really drive this
Your
your essence
essence.
of who you are, because you're good enough wherever whatever you lay your hands on. So that's one of the reasons why I find it that in our society a lot of people have been um, transported translated into other things, and they leave their true calling, their true essence is being eaten while they're trying to get done and other things just so they can be appreciated, recognized by the society. So yeah.
Mm. There's also, when you mention society, it triggered something, which is societal pressures.
Yes.
I think it also can contribute, especially when you belong to a circle
Yeah.
and everybody seems to be doing one thing or the
True
other.
story. Growing up, I was a writer. I started writing really young, and I'll write and just straying around the house, and my mom would gather it all. And I realized, oh, is this important? I didn't know that, right? So she told me, you would make a good lawyer or something towards the heart, because it was natural to me. Okay, so we had a deal. I'm gonna go to arts class. Okay, junior YX, I made good grades, right? But I knew I'm gonna go into the arts class, like lawyer or whatever. And because I made good grades, I could choose whatever I want to do. So I went into the art class, specifically the class where I could be a lawyer. And I got there, and all the people there were like, "Oh, I thought you were brilliant. Why are you here?"
Wow.
Yep. Did you fail? I'm like, no.
It's just because you moved from science to arts.
Yeah. Did you fail your junior Y? I said, no. So why are you here? I said, okay, that's it.
What?
Under 24 hours, I got like 5 compliments like that.
What? That is just a mindset that needs to be dealt with in the larger society.
Yeah.
That those in science, arts,
Better. No, they're not.
yeah, true that actually. Okay, so another thing, definitely, so that social pressure also is very important. There was also another thing that I thought about, that is sense of belonging.
And that's it. I had to move to where I could feel like I belong. I'll be appreciated. My true worth would be felt and recognized, instead of me going the way I really want to go. And that's how we lose talent.
What if you are already in a place and you feel they are not accepting me, or I'm struggling so hard? Remember that imposter syndrome is you doubting your ability, what you are capable of. And then you realize, okay, maybe it's so hard for me to fit in here. Do you move out, or you keep trying to level
So
up?
many people with imposter syndrome will keep trying to level up.
Okay.
They would find it hard to drop the bag. Then they feel they've lost and they're not worthy. It would make it worse for them. But if you're not with an imposter syndrome, you can say, damn it, I'm out of here, and walk with your head high up, because you know you're good enough. You always figure it out. You always do something better. But if you have imposter syndrome, you keep leveling up. It's become toxic. You have unclear mind, anxiety, sleepless nights, and it just keep going on and on and on and on. And that before you know it, she's a bitter black
Woman.
woman in authority.
All right, you know what? To reinforce that you are enough and that you're worthy, I'll play you one of the songs I enjoyed listening to from India Ari, and it's titled Worthy, from her 2019 album that is titled Worthy. And after that, we will come back to further help you understand some of the ways you might have been exhibiting or maybe attempting to cover up the imposter syndrome. For instance, if you consider and pride yourself in being a perfectionist,
Yes.
saying, oh, I cannot move forward until everything is perfect. It might just be that is masking as perfectionist in you. There's also the person who wants to get it right all the time. Don't worry, we'll help you to understand that right here on Soul Sisters. And by the way, you can send your messages if you have any. If you have any question, you can send it as well to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. Here is India Ari with Worthy.
I know exactly what you're thinking. I've had those thoughts a million times. I can see the question that's behind your
I
eyes.
think I finally got it back.
You're searching for a peace of mind.
Yeah, right.
Now listen up to this truth. You are me and I am you. Every one of us is worthy.
Sorry?
Baby, girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. I know your life, I felt your pain. I know your joys and your shame.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like life walks over you, or like you're a penny on the ground. But either on the ground or in your purse, the smallest piece still holds its worth. Every one of us is worthy. Baby, girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy.
Can you
The public
stream?
playlist.
Baby,
Public
girl,
playlist to me, then you can have my
Of what?
woman. Every one of us is worthy.
Of what?
Country song.
Country. We don't do country, but we do soul songs. Yes, we actually tweet it. Personal. You might need to find them on our page. So we play them and then tweet them on Smooth 91 FM.
So listen up to
Yeah, you can just screenshot, like take a picture of this, put it on my
Every one of us
portfolio.
is worthy. Yeah, baby girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. Every one of us is worthy. Every one of us is worthy.
Hi, my name is Richard Dominic, and this is Smooth 98.1.
Hi, this is Letty C, and you're on Nigeria's #1 station for soul, jazz, and funk. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life.
Let's go back to history.
On January 1st, 1914, Lord Frederick Lugard succeeded in the amalgamation of northern
So
and southern
we talk
provinces
about
of
the
Nigeria
different
to
ways
make up
you
for what is now
can
known as
possibly
the Federal
manifest itself,
Republic
like I
of
mentioned. So we
Nigeria.
talk about perfectionism, the superwoman,
Natural genius.
exactly,
How
the
did this mounting
soloist,
pot of
I
diversity
can do
the
it all by
experts,
myself.
yeah,
The intention
and
was
other
for the
things as
North,
well. So
either the
those ways
Igbos
it
in the East or
comes
the
up.
Yoruba in the West, to team up to form the government.
Let's talk politics and the state of the nation.
So much corruption, commotion, confusion.
Talk politics on Smooth 98.1 every Thursday from 11 a.m.
Black people are more concerned with their tribe being in control than they are with liberation from foreign control. How can we get
Well, your thoughts, opinion, perspective, and contributions are always welcome on the political show every Thursday from 11 till 11:50. It means tomorrow you can join Omashaye and the crew from 11 till 11:50. But right now, we want you to join us and chip in your thought as well on Soul Sisters. We are talking about a topic that can be related or is quite relatable, and that is imposters syndrome. You can send your messages to 0809 444 0981. This is not only for the Soul Sisters, the Soul Brothers are welcome too. Muste, if you can hear me, hi. Special shout out to you. And of course, Cisco Delgado and every other person listening. We appreciate you always. So, my guest this morning is a mindset engineering advocate, and she's explained what that is about. So, it's about building your mindset block after block with the right thought, with the right content, just for you to be who you should really be and not undermining yourself. And that's why we're having this discussion. Her name is Temi Omotola. Before the break, I said we will talk about some other manifestations or the different forms of imposters syndrome. For instance, the perfectionist, people who like to get it right all the time and will not move into action until everything is perfect according to their standard. So, was your take on that?
Oh yeah, that's a very. I probably still deal with that.
You deal with that?
A little bit. So after all has been said and done, I have the confidence. I have all of that. Compared to my male peers, I tend to go extra length, right? And I felt like I was overdoing it, right? I felt like that was very recent actually. I felt like I had to cross all my T's and dot all my I's, right? But I was able to quickly recognize it, right? So now we're pa.
Do you remember or can you track how you got there?
No, it's internalized, right? You just keep going. It's so that's one thing about imposter syndrome. It's not like headache that you begin to feel I'm having headache. It's more like stroke. You know, people
Just
with high blood pressure. Yeah, that's the right one. You don't know your blood pressure is going high until you use the thing.
Sphygmometer.
Yeah, to measure it. So that's why mindset engineering is important. So it creeps up on you, becomes a part of you. You think it's part of your work ethics. So luckily, I have a team of peers that I was able to measure, and I could quickly tell myself, Tammy, imposter syndrome. Stop doing that.
What about the superwoman? How does it manifest itself in the or under the tag of being a superwoman?
So superwoman perfectionist is more like the same, right? You want to get it. You want to. Okay, we have an audit, for instance, and all the audit areas is my name. Why do I have to have all such responsibility? You need to be able to trust other people to contribute as well, so you can gain and learn from them. But when you begin to feel like it's all me, and see the thing about super women, they will complain about it, but they're enjoying it. They won't delegate, and even when they delegate, they're shadowing the person. But your main male counterparts will not do that. They'll delegate with confidence and expect you to deliver. But the women would not want to delegate and keep talking about it. I'm a superwoman. I did this. I'm the only one in this place getting things done. When it's time for promotion, guess what? They still won't get
So, in other words, if you find yourself maybe micromanaging people,
people. Yes.
that is possibly a manifestation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
A good manager should be confident to raise good team members. So, soloist, same.
Yeah. The one who wants to get everything done by themselves. That is so sad. What about the experts as well?
So, in terms of the experts, you believe, for instance, you have to have a PhD to go for this. No, you don't.
No, okay.
You don't.
That's similar to the perfectionist.
Yeah. You don't have to have a PhD or a master's degree before you can do this, and that. Okay? Look at the criteria regarding that. Okay? And just go for it. You're good enough.
All right. Well, I think I have heard you're good enough a number of times this day. So that should segue us into how to deal with these things. We've talked about a number of manifestations, how you see it, how you pay attention. Before we even talk about how to, well, I think it's already the start of how to deal with it. How do you bring yourself to maybe self-diagnosing that this really is imposter syndrome at work?
So the first thing is you need to be self-aware. You need to know who you are and who you're not. So that's the first thing I did. I came to the realization that I need to write it down. Who is Temi Omotola? Who is she not? So I know who I am. So when someone else is saying something else, it doesn't matter because I've already validated myself. And I'm not shy for conflict anymore. Before, you want to be the nice girl? No, come on, bring the fight. You know what I mean? Before, I can't do that. Before, I wouldn't come to this radio station. I won't do it because I believe it should be for some other people. But you're good enough. Do your self-assessment. Know who you are, know who you're not. Then realize it's not just you. It brings comfort when you realize you're not the only one. It's not really even a male female thing. Most of the male that go out there, they scare themselves, they have anxiety, they have low-key imposter syndrome, but they would still show up and show out and not show weakness. Right. So realize it's not just you. The best of us have this. The very best of us have this. So it gives you comfort when you know it's not just you, and you're now more willing to deal with it in a more gracious manner. So you're not, yeah, okay. Then when you achieve something, recognize it, celebrate it. Own your crown. Don't downplay it. Someone say you're looking good. Oh, thank you. My daughter would even tell you, I know. Okay, recognize your achievements, celebrate it, and don't make perfection the goal. Like Ada reached out to me, you're coming on here. I had my MBA class yesterday night. I couldn't sleep until 3 a.m. and I still have to show up here. Okay, if I was the perfectionist that I was before, I would have said, oh, I need to prepare, I need to start. No, perfectionist is not the goal. Being present and available tops being perfect. Also, consistency tops creativity. Keep showing up, keep being yourself. Don't try to do too much. Keep it simple. Yes, that's the right word. Always keep it simple. Don't overthink it. When you can't think through in 10 seconds, you're probably overthinking it. Life is not that hard. This life, this universe is a beautiful place. You're a beautiful part of our existence. People need you to show up. People need you to believe in yourself. People need you to be the best version of yourself. And there was a quote by Marianne Williamson that changed my life. The one that said, "Our deepest fear is not that
Oh
we are
yeah.
inadequate." The first day I read this, it felt like she knew me. I was spellbound. I printed it and put it beside my door, my bed, my car. I put it everywhere. It literally changed my mind. This was my first um, affirmation. That was before affirmation became popular, right? This was the first thing I would tell myself every day. And it's so true. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. You are powerful beyond measure. People need to understand they are valuable. You're here for a purpose. See, anyone that is taller than you is too tall. Anyone darker than you is too dark. Anyone fairer than you is too fair.
Really?
Yes. Anyone that can sing better than you is singing off key.
So that means everybody is in a league of their own, and that okay.
Yeah, we're all important, and we need everyone to appear in their own strengths. Then they bring value. Then you can learn from them. Then you can build the team dynamics and be better. Like show up strong. Appreciate yourself. Flat nose. That's how God wants it to be, and it has to be beautiful.
Mm. And the problem will come when you compare yourself to others. Actually,
Comparison
is the thief of
is
joy.
the thief of joy.
Yeah.
You're good enough. Don't keep the grass is never greener on the other side.
It's turf.
The
That's for turf.
grass is greener where you water it. It applies to everything, your marriage, your friendships, everything. If anything is not working in your life right now, you have the ability to turn that around. You're that powerful. You just need to put in the work. And in retrospect, you can then go, yes, I did this.
Thank you so much for the ball of energy that you brought in here. Thank you for leaving it behind because people that walk into the studio will need it as well.
Yes.
And we appreciate your time and presence this morning. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for having me. Yes, showing up, that's the key word.
So, how can people connect with you across all social media platforms?
Oh, yeah, I'm on Instagram, Temi_Omotola. Trying to say Omotola. I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
I have thread. Oh my God, if you go to my thread.
You've been threading.
I've stopped a little bit because I was traveling, but my deep thoughts appear on my thread.
Okay.
So in the morning, they always come.
Fresh.
And that's one thing I really encourage, authenticity. It doesn't matter when people don't know you right now. Keep being authentic, keep showing up authentic. Your thoughts, your experience is valuable enough, and no matter where you are, you're definitely going to help some other people that are way behind you. Sure, there are people that are above you, right? But a lot of people that's where you're right now is their prayer point. So show up, show out, be you, be authentic. Stop copying and pasting.
And stop comparing yourself as well.
Stop comparing yourself as well.
You have a journey and purpose that is unique to you. Own it and, of course, live it to the fullest so that you can inspire others on their own journey. Celebrate, collaborate instead of competing. And on that note, we have come to the end of Soul Sister. You can call it the final Soul Sister in the month of August 2023 because today is the 30th of August 2023. And we appreciate everyone who has been a part of it. This is a special dedication, not just to the girl, to the woman, to the lady who is struggling to be the best version of herself, but also to everyone, because again, we know soul brothers are listening. So it might be girl on fire, but just see it as yourself on fire. Look at yourself in the mirror and say you are worthy, like India Ari said. So special dedication.
Well done, cousin. I'm watching